The basketball game beat South Surrey. Yep, how we go to, I don't know where that is. You did mine? Oh. Roll call, everyone's here. Approval, let's see, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First thing, I guess, is the approval of the minutes for the February 1st and February 9th meetings. Are there any corrections or discussion involved there?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Steve. We have a second.
I'll second it.
A second by Elaine. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of payroll and bills.
I have a quick question, I guess, as far as the copiers that we purchased. Is there like a service plan with that?
We have not purchased that yet. That was the buyout on the other one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Marco, you paid, I see 500 and 536.
Well, and then I got Friday, I got a bill from them to come pick up, and that's another $500. This is the company we were dealing with.
So we're looking at service plan for all of it.
We will have a service plan on our new one.
Any other questions on the payroll and bill?
What is someone?
That's the EAP policy with the life insurance.
And from the way I understood on the new copy machine, it's like an annual count on how many copies. So that purchase price that you guys see there to Gaffney's is the actual ownership cost of owning the machine. And then each year they'll charge you for whatever copies you make.
They charge that every quarter.
Oh, was it quarterly, not annually?
Quarterly.
Okay.
Any further questions on the bills and the payroll? Hearing none. Voice vote, all in favor, pass it on any motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll and the bills.
Second by Mike. Okay, now voice vote, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Okay, financial reports, other reports, Diane?
I have nothing unless anybody has questions.
I guess my only question is, and it's more for council. Did we talk about, because I thought the garbage fund was gonna be zeroed out. Is that, unless I missed that?
You mean the 3,500 that's after that?
Yes.
No, at one meeting, Jenny said, why don't we give this much to this and this much to this, but there, as far as I know, there was not a motion on it. And I don't remember exactly what it was she was trying to put it. Do you, Jenny?
I believe it was capital equipment.
That sounds right.
Commissioner Fogger. The money was between Fogger and the ATC, climate change.
Do we want to talk about that at the end, when we're gonna talk about the enterprise tax first, potentially?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve the financial reports and other reports.
I'll second.
Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Personal appearances, we have, we're making personal appearances.
Which is next.
Oh, if you want to be next. Okay. Bill Butler? Yeah. You're the next one here. All right, guys, up in front center. That'll be good, yeah. All right. So I don't really have a presentation or anything. I'm just here for renewal of franchise agreement with myself. The 10-year renewal, they talked to extend my existing city. So if there's any questions that I can answer, I'll do my best. And then anything that I can answer, I'll.
Diane, is this an ordinance that he has provided for us, or is this an ordinance that's based on our previous ordinance?
Well, it's based on the previous, but was it you I talked to, Will, that said there were a few changes in it?
Not me, from my understanding, it's the exact same. You know, it's a 3% franchise agreement with the city. There's a big six. You guys have an existing service with us? Yeah, that's what. Would be the one service with the city.
Well, none of that changed.
Have you been working with Pat myself? I know Pat
That sounds
myself,
familiar.
somebody reached out to Pat myself.
But that must be right now.
Any other questions?
Not for me.
Any other questions for Mr. Bartlett?
I have a question. Did you mention it was 3%?
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at section 5 on page 7. Under subparagraph 2, it says 5%.
Yeah, so what that is that would include if, so the total value of the product, if we were to put like a cable for cable services in, they would include that up to your 5%. So if you went up to your 5%, then you would no longer get that free service from Midco, right? Because they would include that service right away. You can raise your rate as a city from, you can move it anywhere you want, from 0 to 5, it doesn't matter in between there. The only stipulation with that, as long as us and any other competition is equal, that's all that matters. If you raise that up to 5%, that's the max that we're allowed to the FCC to contribute back or give back to the city, which means that free service would then put you guys close to that 5% and with all their. That makes sense, long-winded answer? Okay.
Page 9, we talk about 3% franchise fee.
Yeah, so I got it.
Any further questions, Mr. Butler? Hearing none, do we need to have a motion to approve this?
We have a first reading.
First reading for the ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve it on first reading.
First. One. That would be to approve the document as provided.
Correct.
Do we have a second?
We'll second it.
Second by Steve. Any discussion? Hearing none. We probably go voice vote on this also.
It's an ordinance.
Oh, it's an ordinance, I'm sorry, my mistake. Twyla,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Brent,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thanks.
No personal care, generator quotes.
I'm gonna talk the elephant in the room here, and have the question answered for me. Now, I know Diane asked quite a few companies about this. Who are these ones that response you guys answer?
These are the only two.
Okay, now, we're all well aware of who I work for, right? How do we handle this? So I know what I can and can't say. I can provide some information, but I don't know what to do, so I don't.
Did you have anything to do with writing up that quote?
No. All I did was find the information that they gave to both the companies to do the bids, so.
No, there's nothing.
Is there gonna be a problem if I vote on this?
No, there's no conflict. You don't have a personal name.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking, I don't
No, absolutely.
know. I doubt it.
Mike, you feel the 20K is overkill or enough? Or-
Okay, I went back to the records with the power company, and we have a peak of right around, I think 15.5 was the max we ever did. And the safest way to do is 120%, which puts us right around 18. And they don't make an 18, but 20 is the next step up. I think that's perfectly acceptable. A way to go. Don't want any lower, I think it causes problems. I mean, this will run everything for all the lights on in this place and run every computer and just let every outlet not have a problem. That's what we want, right? No problems.
Please know that was.
Especially since you're gonna need this will be the command center. if
Yes.
anything happens, so I
Yep.
agree.
Okay.
It's always better to overplan than underplan.
Yep, charging, rate station, water towers, stuff, everything, top to bottom covered. The only thing that with these two, this thing here, they have a gas generation and they have diesel generation. We have a diesel tank sitting outside, right? Right next to where they're gonna put this generator. I think diesel is a smarter option, because that tank's usually got diesel in it, right? They have a natural gas option in here. I personally don't know, me personally, I don't think gas or a natural gas option would be the way to go. So what if there's an interruption in service with the outage? You know, if that's part of why we have a power outage and we use pressure, then we have no generator.
Doesn't that natural gas line come right in between the two buildings though? I mean, I don't think that would be too far off to run it.
No,
Like, if you save $10,000,
And
if I'm looking at it correctly, yes.
Yeah.
But that's
16 for 1 and 26.
that's a home gas one where we would not want to go home, we want a commercial option, for sure.
So there'd be like another fee for hooking up natural
I
gas.
believe in these, if I was reading these earlier, the piping is included.
That includes everything. then.
It doesn't
Yep.
include the concrete pad.
Yeah, it does, 26, whatever, but.
Well, you were, yeah, for 22.
Is that something that, like, $2,200 can the public works do that? Slab?
If they wanted to, yeah. You just have to follow, you have to contact the contractor and ask them what their specs are, because I know it changes with generator.
Something like that, I would feel a lot better if they used them all.
I agree.
How big is your diesel tank out here? This can't, what is this supposed to be?
Not really. It also depends on the load, because when you guys put heavy load on it, it will ramp up.
The tank we have out here is 300 or 350, and I believe both trucks have a 30 or 50 gallon soda tank.
So we've always got diesel.
And is that comparable to what we have on the lift station, or is that bigger?
This one's considerably small.
Because the lift station generators are 150 to 210 gallon diesel.
It's gonna have a tank on it. I'm just saying, for extended periods, if we run out, we have diesel there. I mean, you don't have to fill it, it's gonna run for quite a few hours on this tank. So I personally think diesel is a smarter vehicle, but I am one voice.
I guess to me, when you have diesel and the tank's sitting there, like you say, if the natural gas does quit for some reason, you lose service of natural gas for whatever reason, your diesel sitting right there.
And indeed, we have a way to haul diesel, it's a little harder to haul natural gas.
Some of the stuff I've read about EMPs and stuff like that, that they don't feel that natural gas will be affected. It should still have sufficient pressure for a while. But getting diesel would be hard to do.
We got a pretty big reserve as well.
Yeah.
Or you're not finished.
John Boy.
One other thing to consider as well is if we're planning this generator as an emergency, worst case scenario, if we have an oil change rail up here, so you got your power line and your natural gas line, what do you do here? You gotta fight that fire, you have to do everything else, no power here. That natural gas is what, 2-3 feet deep? That oil train's gonna go way deep on that. So that's another option to consider as well.
I would get maybe gas lines, might vary with running back those, and if you get that line, that gas is no longer in that line.
Do we have any, anybody wanna make a motion on which one to do or do any of them?
Did we budget for this? Like, do we know exactly where the money's coming?
This is COVID money.
Then I'll make a motion to purchase the diesel powered liquid cool generator brand.
Which one?
Otherwise generator?
No, this is decent, but which,
The,
Oh, sorry.
got one on 26, 2 and 25.
the Burlington bid is cheaper, and Burlington does work for us all the time, so.
Yeah, they're both reputable firms. There's no,
That's your motion, did you decide?
Oh, I didn't pick a company. I guess I would go with the cheaper Burlington Electric.
we have a motion by Ms. Johns.
I'll second.
Jenny, would you add the exact price so I can put that in?
Oh, sorry, $25,684.34.
Thank you. Brent, you second it?
Yes. Just a quick little discussion, I guess, as far as the difference between the natural gas and the diesel thing. I know it's 10 grand. And yeah, you want to be more prepared, God forbid, but $10,000 is still a lot of money. I mean, I don't know.
But how long will this generator last? Like, if you're
I would think
looking-
it's gonna last, God, forever. I mean, on how often the city, as a command function or whatever you wanna call it, in the damn near 30 years I've been here, it's never happened. I know I get the butt thing, I just don't know if the butt's worth 10 grand, I don't know, I mean,
Steve, one thing to take into consideration, we'll say we'll use I'm not gonna name any company names, but a company that does a lot of water pumping around the country. It's not on, sorry. The company that does a lot of water pumping around the state, they use diesel. There's gas lines next to where they do their stuff, they still use diesel generators. Because they feel they're more reliable.
And I get what you're saying about the $10,000, but I also, remember when I was auditor and Underwood had that tornado. And you just have to be prepared for that, like, God forbid that we ever have something like that happen in Surrey. But if this is Command Central, you need to be prepared for that. Worst case scenario kind of thing, so.
I guess my question would be, is the COVID money cover all of the costs?
Oh, yes.
So it's not like we're spending it out of our pocket, I guess.
No, you can use COVID money for,
Right,
I
I
mean,
get
it's,
that.
to me, it's 10 grand. It's
You want to be fiscally responsible.
I get that.
correct. I mean,
We have a motion and a second.
Any further discussion? Let's see, roll call vote. Jennifer,
Yes.
Brent?
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
Lila,
Yes,
no?
yes,
Steve?
yeah,
And Elaine,
Yes.
motion passes. The time frame on any of these, just, I guess, shouldn't be, I guess, a big issue.
Well, yes, the ground's been into 1 month for the pad down, so.
A little bit.
No, they're designed to be outside. It's very similar to what, vegetation is.
So when they have in, was it General Trading Magazine or something like that, there's like 4,600. And then the relays and the switches and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
and then the control and the switch and the relays, yeah. Transfer switch, plus the relay and everything, grounding.
Okay, building permit fees, park fees, police fees. Have that document in front of you.
Jenny, did you want to speak?
Yeah, okay. So at the last meeting, I think, Diane was talking about transfer out and with the parking police fees from the building permits wherever transferred to the appropriate, places. And I think up until 2019, it had not been. So I just asked her to go back and, print this report out. And I guess on the last page, it says the credits are $21,615. We can minus the $15 out of there because there is like an error of coding. And then the debits were $37.50. So if you take the difference of that, it's $17,850 divided by 2 for the police department and the park, which would be approximately $8,900 each. So I just think we need to talk about getting, I mean, a percentage, if not all of that, to the appropriate entities, just because when we gave out these building permits, we collected for that specific purpose.
Why would it be if the citizens were charged, why wasn't the corporate supposed to? Just a error.
Out here. All the way back to 2014. So.
I think you put it somewhere to pool it for a fiscal year and then you distribute it out.
You're just saying you contributed out then?
Can you speak up, please?
It just didn't get distributed out then, is that the case? Apparently not.
Is this money available to be passed out?
Well, it just ended up staying in the general fund. It's not in the budget, no.
Well, the police get too much money now.
One thing I'll say in regards to that with summer coming, I think we may want to look at, if you do agree to divide that up and do that, that we could use the money to increase the part-time fund for hiring somebody to assist maybe in July.
So for the police department, they would highly accept it. I'm assuming the park is always looking for a little extra for equipment for your new park. I don't know, I just think this money was allocated to them, it just never got to them. So,
why wasn't it that? I didn't know yet.
Yeah, why is it?
it's just a year-end transfer that Diane just got done doing and then just never got done. And I remember when Chuck and I created the building permit, I mean, it was specifically discussed, I mean, we didn't make the decision to put it on there by any means, but it was purposefully put in there for that reason. And it's just for new homes, it's not for like if you have a garage going up or anything like that, it's just, these are new homes. We're $150 into the park, $150 into the police department.
So why didn't it ever get done? Who was working in the office? I mean, it was you, it was,
Well, Jason did the transfers,
Jason did all the
yeah,
transfers.
as far as I could see.
You got,
I mean, I remember doing this. I mean, that's why the building permit was written how it was, so people got their money as far as parking. The police and everything. Why it wasn't transferred, I don't know. I guess my feeling on it is I'm not gonna go back 7 years and start transferring money in and out of accounts on something that happened 7 years ago. So if we wanna maybe cut a line in the middle, I may be okay with that, I don't know. I mean, the money, it's not like it just disappeared and went into somebody's pocket. I mean, the money is
it was used
here.
here.
I mean,
But when you think about that, if you bought a house out here and you paid these taxes and this money to go for this, now you're telling these citizens 7 years later, the money didn't go where it was supposed to.
but whether that money went to the police fund or to the city of Surrey, to me, doesn't matter.
It didn't go where it was supposed to.
I get that, I understand that, but I'm not gonna go back 7 years and deal with something that happened 7 years ago.
So let's only fix 3.5.
Make a motion, do whatever you guys wanna do, I just don't know why we, I'm not voting for something that happened at $150 a pop, just to take 10 grand out of the city of Surrey's money. It should have been done, it wasn't, but were things that were done 7 years ago. Maybe they got their money off of something, I don't know. I don't remember what happened 7 years ago with the police department or with the park, I don't know.
Can we fix it so from now on, is it fixed now?
Well, it looks like it is fixed. I mean, their taxes weren't different. I don't know.
The mishandled building permit. They've all got. They've all got different names on it too. One's a pet license I got put in there.
Yeah, that's the error, I subtracted that $15 that was quoted wrong. Back in 2014.
But not one of these is barely any, none of these are labeled the same. They're all different.
I mean, it should have, if I just look at the first one, I mean, park fee, building park fee, grand building park fee. If there was a name in all of these, to me, that's a little bit different, like Johnson building permit, Smith building permit. I don't know. Peterson police, they should have all been like this Gidley building permit that happened in 15.
Well, you have to understand though, that most of these are, like, these are builders. Precision Plus did a ton of building.
They put Precision Plus on it, Precision Plus building permit. I mean, and they have that, but they certainly don't all have that.
They built the houses though, and then they sold them, so, I mean, that's a hard to go on.
Some of them are blank.
Quite a few in 17 are.
I'm sure they could pull the building permits from 2017 and looks like 2017 is the year that some of them were left blank.
Yeah, there's, well, let's see, May of 17, there's 5 of them that don't have the actual name on them. One in 15.
I kind of agree with Steve. I think it's, to move forward in doing it the correct way now, I kind of have a hard time going back into 2014 and making a bunch of adjustments or transfers.
And paying the people accordingly that have the money coming, I see.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion. I would like to transfer, because I believe this money should be where it should have went in the first place.
Where we gonna,
So I'm gonna make a motion that, that's where you're at. I make a motion that we transfer I'm gonna do $8,900 to the police and $8,900 to the park where it should have went during that time frame in the first place. That's my motion.
I second
And where's this money coming from?
It would come from the general fund where it's been supposedly sitting.
But that general fund changes every year. Now all of a sudden we have a $10,000, or actually 20, we have a $20 or $17,000 hit that we just have to make up for.
No, we have money that's not ours, in the general fund, plain and simple.
But that is allocated out every year, the general fund changes. You have your debits and your credits.
I don't know. I believe in fixing what was wrong, not just sliding under the table and.
It's not being slid under the table.
That's my.
That money has been allocated to other funds within the last 7 years amongst everybody in town. So it helped everybody. It paid bills, it did this, it did that. It wasn't that $20,000 was just sitting somewhere. It's not sitting there anymore. It's not there.
So whoever bought a house, you're a banker, so whoever bought a house out here, they have all this money is gonna go to the police department, to the parks, everything else. Now they find out, say 7 years later, oh, the city sat on their money for 7 years. And we have a chance to fix it. It should be corrected.
It is corrected.
It is now if we make the motion to get the money distributed where it's supposed to be.
To me, how it would actually appear is if we literally put 20 grand out there, somehow we need to levy $20,000 to make it square again. Because the money's not there. It has been spent. It's gone. We put a road in front of their house. We did something with it. We plowed the driveways or the roads. We got new equipment. Somehow their money has been spent on what it was supposed to be spent for.
You don't think their taxes when they paid every year is paid for that stuff?
The money, you're not getting the points on that.
No, I
Go ahead,
know.
Carla.
Can I try to explain what, just to make sure, so when the 20,000 or the 19,000 went into the general fund, and then when you budgeted the next year, you take into account what's in that general, basically what's in your budget. And then you levy taxes based upon that combination of what you think you're gonna levy and what's sitting in the general fund. So it's kind of like the $20,000, you're right, it wasn't allocated according to what the purpose was, so it went on, everybody benefited from it. But what Steve is saying is that if you want to put that money back into where it's supposed to go, you need to basically bring it back from where it originally was benefited. So all the, your landlord benefited, my landlord benefited, Mike and all the homeowners benefited just a wee little bit from that 20,000. So to budget for it at a later time to re-grab it from everybody to put it back the way it should have been, that's what he's saying.
We lowered.
I understand that, 100%.
Okay.
So is there not 20 grand in the general fund to pay this?
No,
Nope.
we've under levied because we had that money and it was spent somewhere else.
So see, we had $5,400 for attorney fees that you guys voted on to spend. That didn't.
We're not going back in time. That constantly back in time.
This is 2014.
Aren't these monies that are collected, they go in with the building permits fees? Are they separated from that then?
Yes.
And where are they placed then?
Well, when you start a new year, your last budget is done. That money is, you start all over again.
Right.
You start at zero in the police fee and the park fee. And that money that was there is just absorbed into the general fund. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's not in a separate.
It's
building
in a
permit?
separate line item within the general fund, but then at the end of the year, it all zeroes back out again.
It's like if you decide we have spent $15,000 on garbage roll-offs, but boy, we need another $5,000 worth. That's where that money comes from, the general fund. It came from the building permits and every place else. It just doesn't magically appear.
It doesn't magically disappear either.
No, it's in there,
It's
but
in there.
it's been spent. I mean, all of a sudden we have, well, if we decide to go buy another vehicle for 20 grand, because all of a sudden we have this money sitting in the general fund. That's where it came from. All of a sudden there's this money there.
We have a motion on the floor to,
Can I say one more thing before we?
Sure.
vote? I'm a firm believer in admitting we made a mistake, and I think that we should be upfront and honest with that. We made a mistake with this, okay, and we are correcting it from here on forward. But I agree that if we're going to distribute this money out of the general fund back into whatever, into these two funds, we need to re-levy that. Because that money is gone. It was spent on something that was done wrong. And as the city, I think we should say, whoops, and we're sorry, we're going to fix it from here forward, but we can't just make it appear.
I would like to amend my motion. Can I amend my motion after I make a motion and we have discussion? With that being said, that makes sense because, but I would still like to see some money go to the park and the police department. Again, maybe not 8,900, so I'm gonna amend my motion, and Brent, you can choose to second it. I'm gonna say 3,000 to the police department and 3,000 to the park, to at least try to get them some of that money.
we have a motion by Elaine to give the police department 3,000 and the park 3,000. Do we have a second?
Yes. I second it.
Second by Brandon. Any further discussion? No.
Oh, yeah, I have more discussion. The police department is an entity basically within the city of Surrey. We manage their books, or whatever you want to call it. They do their books, we do their books. If they run short on something, they need something, we approve for them to do whatever they want to do. Or what they don't do, we say yes or no. I don't want to give $3,000 to the police department, just give me $3,000.
Got a question in the audience, looks like.
Can I just make a suggestion that, I don't know if it'll make it easier or not? What about looking at it at the end of the year, if there's money left in the budget at the end of the year that hasn't been spent, and then rebudget it?
That is not a bad idea at all.
Because last year, for instance, we did pretty well with COVID, having money left over. So maybe see how this year pans out and look at it at the end of the year and maybe not put an extra burden on everybody. Just a suggestion.
All I know is if I bought a house in that time, I'm standing right in front of all of you. Because it's not proper. And we weren't on the council in 2014.
Any further comments or discussion?
Neither did you.
Any further comments and discussion?
The part that I don't understand, we can kind of spend money on whatever. We can kind of spend money on whatever it seems to. That's something that needs to be, to go correct something to the taxpayers, it seems like, oh, let's just move forward.
But we don't have that money to correct it. Where's the money coming from? You answer me where that 20 grand or the 7's coming from, besides our general fund. If it's sitting in the garbage fund or the sewer fund or whatever fund it's in, if you want to transfer monies out of there because this is where it went into, that's fine. But where are we transferring it from?
We had money, for
But
example,
the money's gone.
but we had the money, stay out of the garbage fund. We bought a snowplow truck. This would have been way better to crack something like this.
But
than
we
buy-
didn't. And he didn't do that.
Didn't know anything about this, I didn't.
So now what are we supposed to do?
Okay, so like if you look at the cash report for January 2021, the beginning balance, which would be the beginning balance, January 1st, 2021, is $83,028. That's where it comes up.
That's our money. And our bills for the year are 83,000, whatever that is.
Nope, this is the starting balance rolled over from the year before. This is
Correct,
your
that's what we have
starting cash balance.
budgeted for. We have budgeted
absolutely
83
not.
grand or whatever you want to
Nope, we
call it.
start receiving money on January 1st. What we have before we receive any money for the year is $83,000.
So where does the 83 grand go during?
It got rolled over because it wasn't used from the years before. So, I mean, there's vector fund money probably sitting right there too, and that $83,000, and the park and police, so it's right there.
All right, so let's have a vote. We'll do a roll call on that.
Any more amendments?
Nope, I'm gonna leave it as is. 3,000,
Wayne
yes.
and Brent
Yes.
and Steve
No.
and Ms. Johns.
Yes, I guess.
Wyla
I'm gonna say no.
and Mike.
No.
We have a tie, 3-3. Well, I'm pretty sure the park could use the money. And
Is that a yes, sir?
I'll not get. Yes, we had money left over from last year, and the 6,000 will still leave us plenty of money in there, so I will vote yes. New business, tax equalization meeting, April 5th at 6 o'clock. We have some paperwork on that.
No, it's just a date. I can remind you too.
Can you put this up with me?
Number 4,
That will be about an hour before our meeting. That's what we do. That is our meeting date also.
so we're doing that an hour ahead of our meeting at 6 o'clock.
How long do they usually take?
Most of the time, there's maybe one or two people. Often there's none.
So they want to leave it at 6:15, 7 o'clock or something.
Have to do that out.
We could do that.
Unless we, yeah, we have to post the time. So.
It's already posted though, like you can do 6:30.
Sure can.
I honestly don't think, I think the majority of the homes were assessed low, so I don't think there's going to be an issue unless you've heard something
I
different.
know that, no, no, everything.
So 6:30 now?
Okay.
6:30. Good comment, that's part of the things that I've already heard.
Correspondence.
What about, are we on still any business?
Yep, we're still on new business. Number 4 is the building inspector from Wood County is resigning, retiring.
Mr. Schmidt.
So when I have something to address, can I do it under new business or do I have to do it under other business? Marcus, kind of a question.
Well, we can wait till
Other business, go on.
I don't have my document on me.
It's just in the notes. I believe. I can read it for you like, sir. Number 4, right?
Bill Schmidt, building inspector with Ford County, is retiring at the end of April. The county is posting the position and a request for proposal contract opinion to fulfill his duties as of Monday, February 22nd, 2021. Depending on the applicants, they will either hire or contract services. How does that leave us? We've already paid for inspections on houses under construction, and he's gonna be gone. Are they gonna pay us back?
Well, like, they're gonna have to hire someone that'll take over.
Oh,
No, not for sure.
We've already paid Ward County for all of the services that have been done to date. So that's all complete.
We paid for them, but they aren't complete, though. The houses aren't complete, are they?
His inspections will be complete.
They are going to finish out the inspections on the.
That's the way I understand, yep.
Okay.
How many buildings are actually building right now?
I think that
8.
I know there was 4 homes that came late this fall. Now there's 27.
Must be 6 or 7 up in Silver Springs.
there's 3 left in Silver Springs.
I see they had staked out for basements last week up there.
And they haven't turned in new permits for it. But that is a good question. That is definitely clarification you guys are gonna wanna have actually from the county. And what I see from it is you guys are gonna have to decide whether you wanna recontract services with the county or if you wanna post your own open position to hire a building inspector just for the city.
We tried that before and didn't get anybody that was interested. We just table it until something happens.
It was pretty much just informational to see what happens.
It's just kind of a heads up.
What do you do going forward if somebody comes and wants to build a permit? Really? So do we turn it down? For what they actually
Build a permit?
Yeah.
Build a permit?
build?
Fill out a building permit?
I could,
If they want.
if they wanted a building permit, say they wanted to build in a month, what do we do with that?
Good question.
Well, we contract Ward County and they would make it happen.
Since we have that active contract, we would reach out to Ward County and it'd be on their end, I would believe, to make it happen, right?
That's why I consider that.
What's it, how long is our contract?
Yeah, the contract probably gonna expire this year.
It was done in November. And so annually November. Nobody talked about a renewal, I guess, in 2020 for November.
Has it expired then?
It automatically rolled, I don't know.
Okay, might want to check on that also.
Okay,
Good questions.
Carla's question.
Carla,
Does anybody know if Mr. Schmidt wants pickup work as a on-call building inspector?
Just wondering if anybody knows if Mr. Schmidt would like to pick up work.
No, we asked him.
we asked him
He
already.
is retired.
So in the city ordinance, it says under building inspector that the duties may be performed by the city engineer in the absence of an inspector. Obviously, we don't want that. So Chuck, is that something that you'd be, like, we are able to do a resolution to put those duties under the mayor?
that would be fine until we get somebody.
We instead of making an employee though. Besides. because we can't-
It would just fall under his duties.
I recall years ago, we had Chuck Schmidt was the acting mayor and his wife became the building inspector for some odd reason because nobody would do it except Chuck Schmidt. And there was an issue there whether he was an employee or not. So we had to have his wife Do that.
Or
There's rules.
esteemed attorney to make a judgment on that.
But this would just be, adding a resolution to the duties of the mayoral position.
So just give you more stuff to do.
Aren't the duties of mayor enshrined in an ordinance already, so that require changing the ordinance? Yes. So they have to have a first and second reading.
And then what happens if Chuck doesn't stay and
Right.
then it just becomes part of the mayor's duties for anybody, any mayor going forward that Chuck knows building stuff, but
You can add a time requirement.
I'm just trying to add
Sure.
quick things like
I'm sure Ward County will help us out. Because they have everything in Ward County will be inspected by somebody,
That's what it's
so, no matter what, so I'm sure.
Does it say here they're advertising
Yes.
for,
In any case, last week when the zoning board met, their position on it was to recommend you guys look at hiring internally and keeping the revenues in-house instead of letting it all go up out to the county.
Do they know anybody who do the job, or will get offered?
What does it pay? Any idea? I have no
Percentage
idea.
of the fee.
50% in building permit fees.
And the building permit fee on roughly, let's call it $300,000, any idea?
$1,200, so $600.
And then out of that 600, the 300 goes to the two districts,
No, that would be above it.
above and beyond, okay, just question.
1,200 maybe not, maybe it's closer to like 8.
yeah, I don't know.
For homes, the normal fees that were going to the county were anywhere between $800 to $1,400 that we were paying and releasing up over to the county on the building permits for houses that came in last year that I seen. Depending on the valuation.
Should we table it a month and see what the county, maybe we can ask some more questions, or maybe they'll have more information by then.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely we
Sound good to everybody?
work on that.
I have a guy that I can possibly talk to tomorrow. I sent myself a text. See? He's a builder.
Okay. Turn number 5 on the agenda. Mr. Thiessen.
Is it required?
Oh, is he here?
No, but I have information. If you look at the email from Tom, attached to it is an estimate from SRF to do the clientele study.
Is that, I guess, I'm all for keeping it open. Can't the police department watch the cars go by?
I think
That has to be on there.
we're not engineers. Yeah, that's like,
You can see them go by though, that's all they do is count them.
and they gotta build a project,
So it's $3,500 to do it. Where's that money come from? So I'm curious.
We
I
don't have.
don't know, I'll have to look around.
General fund?
It would come
I
out
would
of
guess
the
general.
No, the general fund.
Is that where it comes from?
Comes from the general
What
fund.
the heck? There's an engineer.
I'm not gonna give you more bills for the end of the year. Steve.
Just down here.
I know where it comes from.
I've got a question. I'm looking at this, at the email, and it says, their proposal is for a time and materials fee not to exceed $3,500. And then I looked at the letter, the second page of the letter, says reimbursed for our services on an hourly basis for actual time spent. What's their hourly rate?
$200.
I don't
It
know.
still says not to exceed
Not to
3,500.
Yeah, but it says on an hourly basis, so if they're billing $200 an hour, and it takes them 8 hours, that's $1,600, it's not to exceed $35. My question is, what's their hourly rate?
How long is it taking to get to the $3,500?
Exactly, yeah. That's my first thing. My second thing is,
2 days.
there's a form clause in their agreement that says, the agreement is to be governed by the law of
principal place of business of SRF, which is far as I'm concerned. So I am unqualified to give any legal advice on the agreement because it's going to be governed under Minnesota law, not licensed.
That's good. I have another question for you. Steve. Now, everybody else remembers why we're doing this, right? If we don't do this, we lose our quiet zones. And I know
That'd be that.
that'd be bad. So
How much did it take to get it implemented in the first place?
We
So
snuck
this is a carryover, right?
yes, we snuck
Hundreds
in.
of thousands of dollars.
We snuck in on the DOT when they were doing highway data on that road. And that's how we got it last time. But now it's so far out of date, and like the letter says, they don't plan to do it as early as 2023, which we need now. So we have to do this.
Is there an engineer firm in town that can do this or no?
This was the original engineering, so
I know, but just to keep it in.
I would just make a motion to approve their proposal. I mean, $3,500, we have $16,000 or $18,000 budgeted under engineering.
Was that a motion?
Is that a motion?
Oh, sorry.
It is?
I'll second.
The motion by Jennifer and a second by Steve to go ahead with the contract for Steve 3,500 to County Bars on 111th and Pleasant Avenue.
It's a question in the audience.
So what?
There's a comment in the audience. The original money for that quiet zone came out of the sales tax funds because it was to benefit the entire city. I'd suggest taking it out of that same sales tax fund as opposed to the regular budget in your funds.
Beautification fund, what you're referring to?
Whatever the money from the sales tax proceeds goes.
Where that does go?
Yeah, I think so.
With the beautification?
I think that was probably, it's, about 80% less.
Sales tax money goes to the capital equipment
Capital outlay, right?
for the police department and the public works.
Okay, we have a
I
motion.
believe there was actually a grant. I believe like part of it was paid. I believe that.
I think there's a grant to do it. I don't think there's a grant, I don't think grants.
Just like the police tax.
But I believe
Originally, we got grant money.
but a lot of it did not come out of cost.
No. Very
Very
good.
minimal.
The overage came out of that sales, whatever.
It came out of the it came out of the sales tax.
And at that point, it wasn't called beautification fund, it was called, it was just, we had kind of a rule that it had to benefit the city as a whole.
That's maybe where I got that term from. So it was-
Yeah, no, your beautification fund doesn't exist anymore.
Take it out of the police fund. Just, evidently, that's where it goes.
It's not a question.
All right, we have a motion on the floor.
Chuck, we got one more question.
One more.
Are these just for traffic counters?
No, it's to build also a model of they have software that'll, with numbers, give you a model of how much traffic you're in a certain period of time, so they can project it out. It's more than just counting cars.
Well, in order to save a few bucks,
It's,
counting cars is part of it. Doesn't Gordon County have traffic counters? State Gordon County have
That's-
traffic counters?
that's what they were referring to in the letter, was saying that when we did this the first time, we snuck under DOT stuff, and they did a count on that road, and the numbers were current enough where we could use them. But we're out of that window where we can use that data anymore. They don't plan on doing it for another 3 years, 2 years. So,
It's like the water meters, you have these readers, and then all of a sudden you don't have a computer to read the data from so now you need a new computer. Is this a fee? That sounds a fee. Probably fees.
We have a motion by Jennifer and a second by Steve. Roll call vote. Jennifer.
Yes.
Steve.
Yep.
Elaine.
Yes.
Mike.
yes.
Wyler.
Yes.
Brent. Motion passed.
They also had an update on their sidewalk project. We've been in contact with Strata, the contractor on the project. They do not have a firm schedule yet, but intend on a mid-May start date for construction, depending on weather. In the meantime, we will be working with them on the submittal reviews. The only action item for commission to discuss would be the coordination for a pre-construction meeting sometime in April would probably work best.
So Strata wanted it,
And then,
I never heard it.
Is that the plan? Is that not that this year?
I would think so.
Okay, public works, now let's see.
All right, AJ. It's been thrown around the last couple months about AJ getting a raise in a position. I've kind of said how I feel about the whole title. I don't like it, but I do agree with the raise. I did a little research, and I think that with what AJ is currently making, I'd like to put 77 cents on his paycheck. Bring it up to 25. I'd like to make a motion at this time, give him a raise for that, if that's okay.
I'll second it.
Unless you have a problem with
Effectively.
that. Next week.
Start pay raise.
That's very intelligent on his part.
Tomorrow then, I guess.
Today, tomorrow.
How long you been?
2 years and
How long's John been here?
a little over a year.
John just got a bump not too long ago for his, his services,
And see, yeah,
along with the, Stevie John bump this year of $1.42 with all his everything.
So does your raise come with any extra responsibilities or?
We kind of opened that can, I'm not saying you don't deserve it at all. We kind of opened that can of worms a couple of years ago, and the police department just about quit. June 7 years, I've been in the county, and I made 7 years. But I'm under.
We all choose our own professions.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for a 77-cent raise for AJ. 77 cents an hour raise for AJ. Motion by Mike and second by Steve. Roll call vote. Mike,
Yes.
Steve,
Yeah.
Brent?
Yep.
Wyla?
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Yep.
Elaine?
Yes.
All in favor? Motion passed.
Keep up the good work, Andrew.
I would like to see some, more responsibilities, upgraded into that, not like just a random raise doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever.
City auditor,
You got a report from Andrew?
say what?
Public Works report from Andrew?
No, oh, you got, oh, that was December. Yeah.
First off, I just want to say thank you all. It's not just me. Knowing he's the other half of the team. I got quite a bit this month. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Had issues with the meter reader again. The new meter reader came in. So now it's getting blacked out and Neptune and us trained on the new meter reader. We took possession of the new fogger last week. At sometime late March, we're gonna have training and be able to set up about it. Doing a inspection of the cistern, we discovered a screen that keeps bugs and stuff, birds from getting into the cistern tank. Had a chunk of ice in it, with weather, and the screen got tore, so we did a temporary fix on that. Picked up the dump truck, and again, motor fluid power, this time they replaced the cable for the plow hydraulic ram. Every time it would get cold snap, we'd go out and try it, cable wouldn't move at all. I told them I'm tired of bringing it in. So every time we did what I was asked to do the first time, which is replace the cable. Haven't really had a cold enough snap to really check it, but I did check it the other day, and it was free and clear, which is good.
Check it. Sorry. It was 3 below.
Yeah, I did that actually. In the public workshop, we've had a sink since I've been here. It's never had hot water for washing our hands. Connor made a comment that this sink is filthy from us washing, so we put not the cheapest, but a fairly inexpensive inline water heater in. So we have semi-warm water back there to wash up now. Burlington Electric just come out today and got it wired in for us, so that bill will be on next month. We did add a water line across the shop and over the bay door, so we have a faucet between the big door and the walk-in door, so we're pressure washing equipment. When it starts warming up, we're not stringing a garden hose across the shop floor to trip on. So kind of excited about that. Went and picked up the Parks Department zero turn from my for them and dropped it off in the park building. Fixed power steering leak on the utility truck. Let's see here, had a nice day, so we pressure washed the bed in the dump truck, took the salt sand out of it. Then it built up over the winter. And then had snow plowing and sanding after the storm the other day, straight slush. Got some negative snow piles removed, which we could, left one kids like to play on. And John is looking at sign options to redo the Welcome to Surrey sign on Pleasant. And I have a question. Do we want to redo the sign with the exact same logo? Do we want to look at something new, fresh in 2021? What do we want to do there? You want to think about it for a month?
John was gonna give some information for next month too.
Well, I'm just trying to get the ball rolling here because,
Well, and we originally did that too. I know that, the sign company had actually, presented several different options to us and we kind of picked from there. So if you guys are working with the sign company, just have them.
they did send a quote today for, to me, this is way cheaper than what it should be. This is for a 1/100 of an inch, 96 by 96 inch digitally printed sign. So it's the thickness of stop sign, yield sign, so on and so forth, with whatever logo we want. And they say it's right around $300.
Per
To
sign.
me, that is, yeah, per sign. To me, that's awful cheap for an 8-foot by 8-foot sign.
That's just a piece of tin with paint on both sides. What are you gonna do with that thing? You gonna nail it up on this thing or?
Well, I emailed them back to see what they would charge to actually install it, because maybe they have a special way to do it.
I have a question.
Not saying.
It's two-sided, you're gonna have to have it mounted in some sort of a frame. Like,
I have a question. Could they take that, get that image and just screen over the top of that?
To
Put
do
that back?
that, we would have to take that off and try to scrape or sand the line.
Yeah, keep it to them, and have, see if they could do that thin coating over the top of that in that shape, and then just cut off the excess. That would be, I think would be, I really like that sign.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, just a slab, with lettering on it.
That's pretty much what. Then my next question along with that is, no offense, Kevin, besides them cops parking over the overpass, pulling me over, what is Surrey known for? We have no slogan, no nothing. All we have is established 1900. Burlington. What is it? First city. in-
Oldest city in
oldest
Lloyd
city.
County.
What is Surrey known for? Why couldn't we put that on that side?
Come here to get speeding tickets.
Like I said, no offense, yeah, every water and wastewater class I've been to, they say, where's Surrey?
Put safety first.
Oh, you in that little town with the top parts over the overpass, like, yeah, that's Surrey. I wanna be known for something other than that.
The Pleasant City.
Maybe you should put it on the Facebook page or something. I don't know, just my idea.
Contest for us.
Yeah.
No, I just,
So then, if we do a contest, who's gonna judge it? How
Kevin,
long has it been around? Are we gonna?
That's one committee I will have.
I've been picking on you a lot today.
I think if we can get off staff and figure all that out. Put the mayor ahead of it. Final choice.
And I want to thank you for cleaning up, that looks good, whenever it snowed, cleaning that sidewalk shit up for the tracks. That's all, that looks great. That's gotta be cleaned up for safety for everything.
Yep, that's what we did.
Keeps, it keeps it so we can keep it up.
Right?
Okay. Shh. All right.
You gonna do that? This is the auditor service.
Yeah, do you guys want me up there or here?
Just go ahead.
Okay,
Can't hear you.
okay, can you hear me?
You're good.
For the park, there's a lot going on. I don't know if you guys seen that there's a contest to name the new park going on right now. That's been, put out to the kids over at the school, ages 5 to 18, to, if they're from Surrey. Kind of the point is to let one of the kids that's gonna be playing out there give it a name, okay? I'm in the works of writing a grant for some fencing to go between the north property line that separates that park from the rail, to provide safety, make sure there's no accidents that we hear of. Shields, we kind of got a May Day play day to look forward to for the ball diamonds. If you guys just want to keep your ears open for that, sounds like that's going to be a lot of fun and some new equipment and a community day to be able to go out and clean up the area and play. Okay. The park also did some talking about our agreement. To add to the agreement between the city of Surrey and the Park District, that it be reviewed on an annual basis and that any proposed changes be agreed upon by majority vote of both boards. So that it's spelled out that both of your boards, decide and agree on changes.
I have a question about that. So what happens if the council wants to change something and the park board disagrees with it? You got a majority vote on this end and not a majority vote on the other end. What happens?
Negotiate.
Compromise, yeah.
What if you decide to
Force the compromise.
Yeah, what if you can't force a compromise? If an agreement cannot be made, what happens?
Then nothing changes.
I'd imagine no
Nothing
changes.
So as long as somebody digs their toes in the sand, this will be set no matter what, will never change. No, it says it'll be, that's what I'm asking. If, say we feel that our city clerk's worth more than $6,000 10 years down the road, because the cost of living's gone up and we think that it's worth $7,000 now. And we want more money for that. And the park board says, no, it's always been 6, we're never gonna pay you more. Are we just stuck as a city with that?
According to this, yes.
Okay, then I have a question, same difference.
No, I agree both sides.
No, I agree too, but like I say, We have a clerk right now, just for an example.
No.
It's not that topic at hand.
No, but I know, but we don't have one for 6 months, so they're gonna pay for one
It's
that
not
doesn't
the topic
exist.
at hand, sir.
So I mean,
The work is getting done, Brett. It's not a matter of a body in there, in that position. The work is getting done.
Diane, the
It's
point
clerk
is,
duties,
they're
not a
paying
person.
for a clerk position.
They're getting their work done.
It's a clerk duties, not a person.
Can I go back to this?
Sure.
I would agree.
Okay, so that's my only question with that, is did we vote on this to agree to this? Or is it a first reading, second reading thing, or what the deal? I just, because you guys want this red lettering is new, is changes you want to make to the agreement, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
it came to you guys first, to address the building permit collection fees. That was added, okay?
Which you guys are totally get, and I'm 100% behind.
Because this was in place last year, in 2020, this agreement was, okay? So that building permit fee, was added so that it going forward, whoever's clerking would see this and go, oh yeah, you know, that's part of this, that's a piece of this. Okay, and with the idea then, it came back to you guys, and then you talked about it being reviewed annually.
Yep.
Okay, so we took that to the park, and the park said be reviewed annually and agreed upon by both boards on a vote of majority.
Okay.
Because how do you make changes if majority doesn't agree?
Yeah,
You
But how
know,
do you make changes if neither side is agree? That's what I'm asking.
This contract is forever.
Yes.
I would prefer to have it every year. If we don't make any changes, then we don't make any changes. But I don't think it should be, because Mike's right, we could never agree.
But you're going to continue to have to make an agreement every year.
every year it would be
And it
reviewed.
has to be agreed by both boards.
That's fine.
So it's a conundrum.
So it's the same thing.
But it's
It's
not,
not
I
the
mean,
same thing.
it's not the same thing. We as a city are collecting building permits, and right now we're giving you $150 on a building permit. And if for whatever reason the city came up with a plan to do something that we're gonna use the building permit money for, so we decided we're only gonna give you $100 per building permit, that's up to us. That is up to this board to give you money for your building permits. We don't have to. I mean, we don't have to give you the building permit, we just don't. I mean, we should. I mean, we know it gets used or whatever, but whatever that dollar amount is, it's, according to this, it can never go down.
Mr. Cole, what I hear being said is that the council wants a way for this to remain as it's written regarding when it takes effect, and that it's gonna keep going unless somebody wants to make a change and then both people agree to make a change. But the problem is, if one side wants a change and the other one doesn't, we're stuck in this loop where it just constantly renews.
Yeah, so can we?
Yeah,
can
so
we
what we do
agree
is we change it to where we say it's automatically renewed on an annual basis unless one party provides notice that it's gonna be terminated, unless a new agreement is reached. So that way you can say, hey, it's November 15th, you know, you can say within 60 days or 90 days or whatever, you can say 90 days, all right, fine, by October 1st, we need to know if we need to renegotiate this, or if it's just gonna end if we don't come up with a new deal.
And that wordage is standard in all like land lease agreements and such, so.
Yeah, automatic renewal unless one party provides notice that it won't.
90 days.
So if council wants to do that, I wish I would have known about this when it was first written, so I could have done a couple of things, and I kind of got surprised with it at the last meeting. But as it stands, we can make it say what the council wants it to say.
The same goes for park board too. If you guys think you want more money,
You want to be able to leave it open.
Well, the assumption is that with the way it's written now, that we would just look at it every year.
there has to be a way to change it periodically though. You can't just get stuck there no matter what.
I mean, like even on your defense, let's say you decided to hire your own clerk because we can't find one. You're still gonna give us $6,000 if you hire your own?
But I think that's where it gets reviewed annually.
But if the wording is how it is,
Yeah, if we don't agree to that,
if we don't agree to that, you're just giving us $6,000.
I think you'll get this.
No, I'm saying, I know what you're saying.
The way it was, worded, it was like the city council wanted to say, you get this or you don't get this. And the city council was holding a leash, so to speak. We wanted it so it was above board and fair on both sides. And we put that wording in there because it follows what it says about state aid, was there's agreement between both boards to give a percentage. Now, if the attorney wants to change it and put something like that, that's, I don't think that's a big deal.
Right, because this is just drafted by me. I'll be honest with you. I took the old agreement that was sitting in this office and made some alterations. So if you guys think that the attorney would word it proper or better, you know, go for it.
Should we have Mr. Schultz write something up and present it to the next meeting?
I can have it done tomorrow.
can you tell us what it's gonna say?
Yeah, it's gonna say, everything will stay the same, except paragraph 4, it'll say the agreement should take effect January 1, 2021. Be automatically renewed on a year-to-year basis unless one party provides notice of termination by October 1st of the corresponding year.
On October 1st.
It's 90 days.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll
That
second
reading.
that.
Motion by Mike, and second by Twyla.
Unless Mr. Schultz has any more alterations he would like to do, which in that case, I'd like to be notified prior to the sign. Sure.
Quick discussion on that state aid. Now, I know we had some discussion here a while ago as far as they thought we should get this, and we decided, I think we made a motion on it or something. What did we give them last year? Was it 15% or less?
The last year was 10. I don't remember.
I think it was 10%.
And they wanted 20 or something, or. And that state aid money is just, I think you think that it has to go automatically, a certain percentage of it has to come from us to them? Or am I wrong, Jamie?
It's written in the century code that the park district and the city could go up to 30% of their state aid received to allocate towards their park district.
There's no requirement of what number you have to do.
There isn't, but it's up to that 30%.
But I think what we went off of was a pool from all the other cities in North Dakota.
Right.
And the,
We had gotten a bunch of quotes from other cities on what they were doing.
the north.
Okay, we have a motion by Mike and Twyla. Did we vote on that yet? Okay. Mike,
Yes.
Twyla,
Yes.
Fred,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes,
and Steve. Motion passed. Ron Burns Park walking path lights. Did you see?
Well, that's kind of, yeah, we discussed it at our park meeting. And they're all busted from the winds that were.
Broken last year, too, a lot of them.
Where is this walking path is now? Silver Springs.
The Ron Burns sign up there, the walking path behind the north of the cemetery.
North of the church and the cemetery.
I checked on the lights to get the same ones a year ago, and they were like $180 a piece. But I think we could go get some of those, what they call them, coach house lights. They're,
I think no matter what we stick out there, we're gonna be replacing every few years. anyway. They're gonna get busted, broke, I mean, vandalism.
I guess probably the question is who wants to pay for it?
Maybe the police wasn't doing their due diligence out there.
I think what they put up there was.
What they put up there was a real, like a decorative.
Yeah.
Light, you know, which is great and pretty to look at, but in North Dakota, it's just not gonna withstand each winter.
You have, if you want a good light or something like that, it's gonna hold up, it's gonna cost you ridiculous.
I'm here.
It's not gonna be cheap right now.
Is there any way to put like something around them so they don't break? Other than, I mean, well, that's just.
It's just.
The ones that are there now go up and they have
A hanging globe.
I'd say the coach house ones that sit right on the pole would be more rigid, but.
So you're saying the coast side ones would be like the street lights that we have now in Southwest and Silver Shore.
Well, like the ones that are on my wall over there. They're little square jobs with glass on both sides and bulb in the middle. We get some prices on lights or,
Oh, we could just do solar lights, too, couldn't we? Just, I mean, those would probably last.
we're all wired.
You have power there.
So what do we gotta just find something to get us out, basically? Because you can't just stick anything on there. I gotta pay attention, so I don't know.
So you can call just about any electric contractor, city lineup, or where any of the surrounding areas, and let them know what's going on, and I guarantee some of them come take a look at it.
But is this something that we can just, I mean, we're gonna do it every year.
That's why, something.
But I mean, is it something
will-
that AJ and John can actually just replace? I mean, it's almost like it just becomes part of your routine, it's the busted light, you fix it.
I am not going to say anything on that subject of somebody who would like to work.
Do they have to do electrical work, or they just have to replace?
I think they'd have to replace the light.
Yeah, just.
They are not going to make any comments.
How about have AJ go look at it and plus get it in, and then they can come to our next meeting and see what they come up with. Have AJ see if it's something he can possibly fix or not fix, or you don't wanna touch it. Wiring, I wouldn't touch it myself, but maybe you just gotta, I don't know, look at it and get it.
In all honesty, that's replacing like these light bulb or the light switch or socket. I don't mind doing that, but I control the power when it comes to something like that. I personally would not want to touch it because one, I don't have any licensing certification for electric work. And I kind of like it and don't want to like, this free spot and all this.
I think Otter Tail, I mean, isn't that who the power, is it Otter Tail or Gregory up there?
It's Otter Tail.
I mean, I think you make one phone call to set, and he's over there right now, and he's helping, so that's not a big deal.
But
So
it's,
just find something that you think will withstand North Dakota wind and weather. And then
Through
give
Otter Tail? Through Otter Tail?
Seth lives right in town.
Yeah.
He's very, very.
No, that's, oh.
Right to install, and I'm assuming he could get it done perfect.
Okay, we've got that solved.
yeah, and then the only other thing was that, since we're in March, but we're gonna, April, the first week in April, just so you guys know, I don't know if you've done that here, but it was a big thing before, and maybe Jenny has heard about it, but City Government Week, it's kind of a week to be proud of where you come from. So I got a message out to the grade school in hopes that maybe you can go over there for a short little presentation. Kind of get the kids ramped up and have some, just have some information about the city. Take some of the old pictures. Yeah, if a council member, you want to go with Brent, that'd be awesome. Or the mayor, or maybe Chief Powell, that'd be awesome. It was something fun that I've done before, and it's just so much pretty cool, so.
They used to have like coloring contests or whatever.
Yeah, they talk about the mayor for the week or something like that. Or they give it to them. Yeah, my turn. I guess I've got a couple of items. We've got another, issue came up about, people getting crazy again. Twyla has a presentation in your folder. Where is that? There it is.
I just minutes of an email I sent to some people.
Yeah. And I have an explanation in there. I don't know how it got so blown out of proportion. Started out as an innocent phone call, and now we're picking on people and just way out of line. I don't know, but
Can I ask you a question? Do you
Yeah.
have Diane's, cell phone number?
I can't hear.
Do you have Diane's cell phone number?
No. The only cell phone number I have is one Keith used to have, and that's 833-1231. And that's the reason I called that number, because that's not what I have.
In reality, do you have my phone number? Because I have texted you, but you just, evidently haven't saved it in.
Yeah, it could be in my something, I don't know. The fact that it got all, instead of anybody calling me and asking me what the problem was or what the question was or anything, we just went ahead and blew it all out of proportion.
Well, to be quite honest, we were all sitting there without power at that time that you called him. Nobody had any power. We didn't have any at school, we didn't have any at school.
Yeah,
So the
well,
phones weren't working, our phones were working, but
okay, but why then does it have to get to this extent? Why-
It doesn't.
This is all made up.
But you should have been calling John. You
The only
should have,
phone
why
I
couldn't
have-
you have waited until, and talked to Diane about it?
Why didn't Diane call back and ask the
Yeah.
mayor what was going on?
I
What the
asked-
deal
I
was, and
told
discuss
John,
it
if I
there.
remember, you can correct me if I'm wrong, John, I said, I've got 3 calls regarding, Tara's Facebook page on the city website. And I said, can you have whoever's in charge of that, give them that information? That was the entire extent of my call. And what happened after that, where it went,
And how long has that post been on that website, on our
I
website?
don't know. I got calls.
Tara's post was put out there, I'll admit it, I put it out there, it was anything that people ask that be.
I'm just asking when it was done.
um,
It's been there.
The
for a
same
while.
day that it was requested. People will send messages and say, hey, could you put this out onto the city page? That's when things get posted. We put Beardsman's barbecue when he parked out here. That's because he asked us. It wasn't to offend Big Dog from having their, meals readily available. It's just because people have asked. And if that's not the right procedure to do, then I need to know that.
Well, I
Or
just don't think, we can't pick and choose what we're gonna put on and what we're not gonna put on.
no, but if people ask you, wouldn't that be the right thing to do for your residents?
I would think it would be
Well,
okay.
I think the whole point of it is when 501c3, which is a nonprofit organization, creates a Facebook page, of which I did for this city along with Kim Shaw. We went to training, we were told laws, rules, regulations, and soliciting money was one of the things that was not allowed.
Okay.
So,
But
I
we
mean, the
have one,
city's Facebook page, as far as, I don't, are these considered minutes or, because this is like all opinion, in my opinion, but
it was an email that I sent to 2 other people, which constituted a meeting, so it's minutes, and they've already were approved.
these weren't.
This is what your thoughts are,
These weren't, it was the
No.
other 2 meetings were.
They were.
No, this one. You can go back and listen to the recording. But, I mean, these are not going to be accepted as minutes in that the email that we received from Diane via the mayor, I believe he wanted something written to protect the city, which is his job. But his other job was to say that the Facebook page as a 501, like you didn't see a GoFundMe on the schools page. I guarantee it. As far as this Quint thing, I don't know what that is. Terry Johnson was a alderman and mayor for like 20+ years for the city. So posting something about her has everything to do with this.
Well, it's convenient, you didn't bring up the 2 posts that were on for Brent.
I didn't know they were on there myself.
I'm just.
It's only because people have asked, like the family
Was
that
the GoFundMe on there?
I'm asking you about the 2 posts for Brent. It's okay to have that on there, but it's not okay to have this for Tara.
Let's differentiate between the city Facebook page and the city's official city webpage.
So where's the post at?
There's two different things
It's on
here.
the city's Facebook page, correct?
Because it was requested by her
I'm
husband.
asking just where it is.
On the Facebook page.
On
It's
the
on the
Facebook
city's
page, it's
Facebook
not
page,
on the,
along with the post about Brent. his
And the
family,
quintuplet
along with
family that had
Johnson, and the twins, and yada, yada, could go on and on. It's the same thing.
I didn't know my family's had anything to do with it, to being on there.
And I'm
I've
not
never-
opposed to having it on there,
No,
Brent,
I,
at
but
all.
I'm just saying, I never seen it
But
on there, I didn't know it was on there, and I wish it wouldn't have been put on there.
No.
Period.
Somebody asked for it to be put on
Anita,
there.
Didn't know it was on.
you know the difference between the city's official
Webpage and the Facebook page? Yes, sir, I do.
Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay, so the GoFundMe for Tara was on the Facebook page?
Yes, sir.
Or the city's webpage?
The Facebook page,
Facebook, okay. So nothing has been put on the.
the webpage, no.
webpage, You know,
And if a 50, whatever kind of collection, if that is a ruling, and I didn't know that. So, if you have that to provide, that'd be awesome. Because honestly, the only thing,
Unfortunately,
All of them are still
Unfortunately, per the guidelines of a 501c3 Facebook page,
there's a
yes,
lot of other posts on there that unfortunately shouldn't be there either.
Then pull it
that,
down,
that are GoFundMe collection pages.
mine anyway.
Brent solicits money, the post
How
for
did I
his,
solicit money?
I'm sorry, the post for his family.
Was
It's plain and
requested.
simple why you want it down.
You're sitting here talking crap about my.
I'm not
family.
talking, no, I'm not.
That's good as fuck, right?
I'm saying, all right, I'm gonna make a motion for him to be removed from the meeting for that comment. Yes, we have an ordinance for that, and I'm
I'll
making
second
it a
that
motion, thank you. It's right here. Do you
There,
do
have
you wanna
that
read
hand.
it?
Hey, you wanna talk about
No.
my kids?
I'm not talking
There is a
about.
motion on the floor. There is a motion on the floor.
we will have discussion. There's no one at a time.
There is no discussion on the motion.
On a motion?
Nope.
On that.
It's unruly conduct.
We have a motion, let me read it.
Discussion.
What's that?
This would be discussion.
Okay, well, I'm gonna read it quietly then. Everybody else be quiet. I guess. Yeah. I'm thinking that just about everybody over there would be eligible to be thrown off, including Twyla.
So can I make a motion for that when I'm done?
I'm sorry, I made the motion.
There's no
That's what I'm
discussion.
asking,
You're
excuse
arguing
you.
with him just as much as he's
No,
arguing.
I'm not arguing with him.
In my opinion, you are.
Well, that's your opinion. No discussion. Once again, let's vote and move on.
Okay, we have a motion to expel Brent from the meeting for disorderly conduct. Motion made by Twyla. And second by Steve, you did? Roll call vote, Twyla,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Mike,
No discussion? Yes.
Brent,
No.
He doesn't get a vote.
Jennifer,
No.
Elaine,
No.
well, it looks like if Brent can't vote, Mr. Attorney, is that correct that the person involved can't vote? Okay, we have 3 in favor and 2 against. According to this, then, Mr. Brent is off the council for the rest of this meeting.
Bring my kid up again. That's all I'll say.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a motion to censure council member Ganser for creating a open meeting violation admittedly per these minutes that were included in the package, that were not approved by the minute.
In the minutes, say Diane back. We did the meeting. What was the motion?
They gave the 2 minutes of the other meetings that did not do those.
Motion by Jennifer.
I want to know what the motion is for. Same thing that you guys did when you had a meeting over here. I did the same thing. I sent an email to 2 other people.
This
I
says right
admittedly-
here, 3 other people though. It says, I sent an email to council members Steve Menawald, Mike Christensen, and Mike Keeson.
Okay, so I sent it to 3
Which is
people.
quorum, which is open meeting violation, which is whatever I
Correct,
just
which
said.
by the League of Cities rules, I provided the minutes from the meeting exactly like Elaine did when she had a meeting over here after our meeting was done.
This was-
So I didn't do anything wrong. I made a mistake. Yes, I openly admit I
Why
made
are
a
we
mistake.
discussing this? I need a motion, there should be a second and then done, or no second. Crap, Nice, easy. it's both.
If the council votes on this and they declare that there's no meetings violation, it's an admission of liability by the city.
Did you get this?
We have a motion by Jennifer to censure Ms. Ganser. Do we have a second? We have a motion by Ms. Johns to censure Ms. Ganser. Do we have a second? Hearing none, the motion fails for lack of second. Okay, what else do I have here?
Well, I don't think we're done with the whole Facebook thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, well,
I think part of the problem with this, if it's a 501c and it shouldn't have been done, and that's fine, again, it shouldn't have been done. I think what happened, as far as my understanding, is there were 3 complaints that were given to you.
yes.
And I guess my understanding is it probably could have been squashed if you would have said, I need a written complaint, because to me, there's been no complaint.
It could have been also squashed if anybody wanted to call me.
I called you,
Yeah, that was.
but then, like I said, it
By
was,
then it was all
yes.
done.
Once it's up, to remove it may be destruction to city record.
I'm sorry.
Once it's posted on the official city Facebook page, if it's taken down, it could be construed as destroying city record.
Now, is the 501c, is it the Facebook or is it the website?
The official city Facebook page.
So that's what I don't understand, because the city's not a 501c. The city is a government entity,
And a nonprofit government entity.
but it is not a 501c. No, it is not.
How do?
Because you'd have to register with the state to be a 501.
Yeah, I think she's right there.
The city is not a 501, it is a government entity, and I know that. Now, I'm gonna need direction, and Diane's gonna need proper direction from you guys on how you want us to post on Facebook. Because I thought we were doing a proper job already. We were doing what we thought was best. People were asking us kindly to post their activities with their families, with what's going on in the city, their businesses. We've been trying to promote nothing but good things.
I think the issue is whether it's on the Facebook page or the city's webpage.
Nobody goes to that page anymore.
I don't think it matters.
It's on the Facebook page. It's the social media page.
If it was on the
For social
Facebook
media.
page, then you can put anything you want
No.
there. Quote.
No, correct, Mr. Schultz? No.
No, you can't put anything you want on an official government Facebook page. You got First Amendment, freedom of speech, restriction.
Have we broken any rules posting that on our
I'm not
Facebook
gonna
page?
answer that in a public meeting.
All right,
No, but I think that they,
Process and equal protection issues, yeah, there's plenty of restrictions. The bottom line is, you can't use taxpayer money to only advocate for some portion, you know, it's about equal access and protection, so
Unlawful use of resources.
that's where.
So how are we using the taxpayer dollars to do that?
Because somebody on city time.
yes.
Gotcha.
I think what they need to do, if they're doing some classes,
Yep, we took a training class, and as a nonprofit, the city, nor the park, we're allowed to, like, you can promote the park. But that's another 501c3. It's not a private entity.
They are, but the city is not a 501,
It's a nonprofit government entity.
but it's not a 501.
This,
it doesn't matter, but if it is or it isn't, I think what they need to do is, I think they have to have somebody give them a class or whatever the case might be, to know exactly what we can publish and what we can't publish. And part of the problem, I mean, if you have continual turnover, you don't know. I mean, this person did it the right way, this person didn't understand the way to do it. And I would agree, I think to put it on there is probably not a bad deal, but if you can't, you can't. And we don't know if you can or not. Jenny said she went to a class and they said you can't do
If you're a 501c.
it. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
A 501c3 is a charitable organization. Your actions have to fit the purpose of the charity.
Which we're not a charitable organization.
okay, that's fine. It's still an unlawful use of resources for a government entity. However you want to say it.
When we're talking about a charity, like I said, I'm the executive director for a 501c3, those are additions. So if I wanted to post something about obtaining treatment, that's fine. But if I wanted to post something about rising gas prices, you couldn't do that.
I understand that, I just want it to be fair for everybody.
I agree.
Thank
But I think, I mean, can you just find somebody or look it up or something, some kind of
Yeah, we'll check it.
a class so we know and then,
We definitely will.
And also clarify what kind of entity the city.
What should we do with these minutes, though, that clearly say that an open meeting was created? An open meeting violation was created. Since I did make a motion and followed all the guidelines of the ordinance.
And then what did we do with your minutes when you brought them forward?
Was that?
I'm Dr. Julie.
I provided minutes. The thing that we figured out after the fact is that was never a meeting. Because you need 4 people that are sitting up here to have a meeting, and we had 3 over there. So it wasn't a meeting. But I provided minutes. Because at the time I thought it was a meeting and they were approved at the.
Diane, did you call the League of Cities regarding this?
I did,
And what did you find out?
and they just said you should write up minutes or to present them.
What is it?
And then.
Oh, but
they
these are
said-
minutes. This is an opinion, Sarah.
They're not, it's not an opinion, it's an email that I sent.
but the email should end,
Exactly.
I don't think anything from the reason onward,
Oh, you're right.
I think you
So
should
he's
just,
right, but I'm not right. I mean, I have it written
Well,
right here.
you're saying the
Opinion,
whole
goals, and then
minutes.
opinion, and the part that's actual, should be the minutes was circled. So no, I'm not wrong.
It would end at the second
1000%
line.
I'm correct.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh my God, you're insane.
I'm gonna make a motion for her to be removed from the meeting. I'm tired of this.
I'm tired of it too, Doc.
No, I'm making a motion for her to be removed from the meeting. She just told me I was effing insane. So get it done.
Holy shit, you are.
Yep, you're right. I am.
Lila's making a motion.
Rules, laws, and guidelines, ordinances are what we're supposed to follow up here. Nobody gives a shit about your opinion. Nobody does.
I'm not asking you to.
Oh, can somebody second that?
Twyla made a motion, is there a second? Twyla made a motion, is there a second?
I'm gonna second it.
Steve second. Twyla,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
Elaine,
Yes.
Mike,
Sorry, Kevin.
motion carried.
We can't have outbursts.
This is not just.
Nobody should.
Agreed.
Well, we're raising hell over everything, let's keep at it. Okay,
Excuse me.
Twyla, how did you come by?
Our attorney has a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
So what it sounds like to me is this recounting of what happened would be minutes if the last three paragraphs were. So if someone wants to make a motion to accept them as minutes, but leave the first three paragraphs, I think that's good. Sorry, the last few paragraphs.
Can I make that motion on my own? I'll make a motion to delete the last three statements, paragraphs on the minutes that I did.
Well, I've got, okay. Twyla made the motion and Mike second. Okay, discussion. The first paragraph is inaccurate. Or a lie, whichever, however you want to say it.
That was the first.
Why is it a lie?
Because the mayor called John,
That's the second
asking to
paragraph.
have
not
the
first
girls shut up.
one. Excuse me!
Yeah, please.
No, you do not get to talk to people like that.
The mayor called John asking to have the girls take down the terracite post. I did not ask John to take down the post. I asked John to bring it up to whoever ever in charge. I didn't say anything about taking anything down. Absolutely not.
The problem with that is she's quoting the email she sent.
The email I sent,
She sent.
who said?
Twyla said, this is what Twyla sent.
Mr. Schultz.
Oh, okay, so it's,
It doesn't make,
doesn't have to be factual if what she said.
I think we need to do something, yeah, I don't.
Steve, or not Steve, I'm sorry.
That was almost my
Andrew.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, I want to differentiate between an assertion that the email is factually accurate and an assertion that this is the contents of the email. The minutes only require that it contain the contents of the email. We're not deciding whether they're true or not, we just need to have what the email says.
Okay, I withdraw my objection. Any further comment?
So what's the motion is,
To approve the minutes of the online meeting that Twyla had with the people.
you know what you're saying, but
That's what I was
February
told.
16th.
I know what you got.
Is John here? Should we ask him what the
Yeah, he's
mayor
sitting
said?
there. John,
It's not pertinent to the correction is only about what's going to be.
I got it. Sorry.
But can't we explain these minutes somehow? I mean,
This is the email that was sent. There you go.
the email that was sent was like Twyla's opinion or,
No, the statement, this is the email that was sent to these three councilmen.
And that was the entirety of the interaction, so that is all that happened in the quote unquote meeting.
Correct.
okay, and I understand that and I get that, but I've sat in that chair and I know exactly what he's thinking. Is when people 6 months from now read this, this is what you did. That's exactly what they're gonna say, that's exactly what they're gonna say. And something needs to be stuck in there that the mayor didn't do this, or says that he didn't do this, or something is going on. Because that's why we're here. This is why we're here now,
Then it
because of
goes to the
everything that's
minutes of
happened.
this meeting.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Then it goes to the minutes of this
That it was.
That'll be correct, yeah.
Okay,
yes. That works. All right, we have a Tyler motion and Mike second.
I need it now, don't we? If it's gonna go in this
It's
meeting.
still gotta be.
Oh, there's-
Still gotta be.
Still needs to be approved.
Anyway, Twyla,
Yes.
Mike, let's see, Steve
Yes.
and Elaine.
Yes.
Motion passed.
So now we want to add, Chuck, your statement.
Yes, yeah, that'd be good. The facts are incorrect in the post. For the minutes for that meeting.
Can you put like Twyla's opinion or something to that effect?
Well, this isn't an opinion, this is the actual email.
I know, but Twyla's, for Chuck, Twyla's email is inaccurate or something to that effect.
Yes.
So I just want, however you want to read it, Chuck, I don't want you looking at this 6 months from now.
Well, this whole thing. Okay, what did I read through there?
Per Mayor Thompson, the minutes are incorrect. Twice email minutes are incorrect.
That's passed. All right, how, Twyla, where did you get this information of all phones down?
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Did it magically come? Did your Pony Express run
Yeah,
on
that's
through
my
the
crystal
school?
ball I got. in my desk.
Okay,
What difference does it make? If you could have just waited and talked to Diane, this could have all been avoided.
if Diane
I
or
got,
anybody else in the office would have called me to
Chuck,
find out.
we
what
were
was
in the
going
middle
on,
of not having electricity at our school. We were trying to figure out what was going
Okay,
on and alarms were
then
going
that
on.
lets you out of it.
Well,
Diane could have, or Anita could have called me and say, what are they talking about?
I'm
The
gonna say
message
this.
was not call Chuck. I never was told, call Chuck on this.
I'm gonna say
But that
this.
one should have, in order to do some decent investigation of what the problem was, you should have checked, rather than apparently you were.
I
able to
went with
call
what I was
Twyla.
told.
Anyway. Oh, Schmidt. That's what that,
Chuck, with the language on it.
I said Schmidt. Okay, here is the letter for Diane. And this letter goes in her personal file. Here's a copy of it if you want. This letter serves as a warning of insubordination as you applied my authority on February 16th and chose to contact councilperson instead of returning phone call to me on Facebook post. I have included the email I have stated that happened in the event. Communication between council members about this issue constitutes an open meeting and therefore requires a written record of the event. As mayor of Surrey, I would recommend you proceed in following a written record of the event so as not to file with the Secretary of State. Moving forward, I would hope to be confident that this will not happen again as your position in the city focus and moving forward in the city of King. That's another copy. Had this been handled properly with moving the city forward in mind, we wouldn't have wasted the last hour, or half an hour talking about this foolishness. All right, well, all right, raising hell, we might as well keep going. AJ, I got a note the other day from Diane, said that, let's see, AJ and John were cleaning snow off the yellow concrete dividers at the railroad tracks as Chuck T had asked them to do the previous year. He drove by, stopped and said, "Are you that fucking bored?" How did this get to Diane? Did somebody hurt your feelings and then you went crying to mommy, or what the hell's going on?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
I'm done. First of all, he reports to Diane. He reports to Diane.
Fine,
He's
but does every time something happens, you gotta run to mommy and say, "Oh, what my feelings?"
This is enough.
I make a motion to adjourn.
We're done.
Gone.
I second it.
I am greedy. We made such progress and then boom, one night, just like that.
Yeah, so they've been,
Wasn't that for your race?
2 weeks ago, it wasn't.
Can we stop, please? We act like adults, please.
Can we reconvene just to hear the police department because he has something important to do?
I have something that's of time sensitive essence.
Yes, we
I'll be
start
brief.
reading.
Can we,
Mike handled the meeting, Mr. President.
The meeting has been.
the meeting has been adjourned, sir, I'm sorry. If you'd like to call a special meeting tomorrow, I will make that
I can't
accommodation
make
for you.
it, I have all games. Unless Anita wants to come.
Sorry, sir.
Hang on, give me 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
Elaine, hang on.
Elaine, hang on.
Chief, don't leave.
No, you don't, you just need to put it on the ground, piece of paper, slap it on the door, you're ready. You can do it right now, like stick straight to the police door and close it right back up again. And you go prepare it also, especially just write it, handwrite it. 8 times.
You need to run a special meeting, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I need you to run a special meeting.
Any 2 council members can call it.
Can you run a special meeting for us with the police department?
Yes.
Thank you.
So it doesn't.
I'll call it. I need a second.
No.
All in favor?
Oops, I can't move.
Do you want to reach out to the other 2 council members? There's a new meeting. We have a quorum, but I want to be respectful to every council member.
Yes, they were just removed the one.
Yeah, I want to be respectful to them, so we do have quorum though, not.
Mr. Steve.
I needed to shut off the. Did you stop recording? You need to stop recording.
Yes, but, yes, it's what we're contacting. I want to make sure that gets.
Sorry.